that guy?
Is that a problem, you fuck?
No, prepare to die!
Crane was hesitating, but Samus was set to fight. She got into a battle stance that made her butt look super tight. And Crane said,
No, wait, I think there has been a gigantic mistake. I actually just wanted to give you some desserts that I baked.
But Samus said,
What pisses me off most in this world is when enemies get nice when they all find out I'm a girl. So do me a favor and take your cakes and your pies and shove them so far up your ass that they end up behind your eyes.
Welcome everybody to Gcast episode 60. We have Malice and Steph here. Say hi, guys.
Hello.
Hello.
We have a lot to talk about because it's been a little bit since we've done one of these, and a lot of stuff has happened, especially in the last week or so, it feels like. So we're gonna get right into it. I know that Steph has a lot to say probably about this first topic, which is the playable teaser for Silent Hill that just showed up. Apparently it's gotten a great reception. So yeah, Steph, why don't you talk about it a little bit?
Yeah, so it's actually really good, even when compared to other horror games out there as just being a simple, I guess you could technically consider it an indie game if you really wanted to. I'm not quite sure how you want me to jump into this other than just kind of talking a little bit about it. The one cool thing that really drew me to PT, or playable trailer, however you want to approach it title-wise, was the fact that you don't know anything. There's no tutorial, there's no description of your objective other than your obvious lead direction, which is to go straight down this hallway, and there's a story there, but it's not really told to you, and it kind of leaves it up to you to put the pieces together and kind of create the plot, which was a really cool concept to it. It's kind of being this almost unscripted narrative, even though there are events that you have to trigger in order to progress forward. Has anyone had an opportunity to mess around with it or watch anything on it?
I've seen some videos about it. What stuck out to me the most is how it's very different from the past couple Silent Hills in basically every way except being a horror game, but it still feels like what I would call Silent Hill. You know, it's kind of weird.
No, I get that because I do believe, to my knowledge, nothing about this trailer has anything to do with the actual Silent Hill. I believe it has been confirmed that it's not going to be a first-person game, and the elements and the story, quote-unquote story, so to say, have nothing to do with the actual game itself. It's more or less of an introduction into the Fox engine and more or less the very twisted mind of Del Tiro. I don't know if anyone's ever had an opportunity to look over any of his art, but my boyfriend got me a really cool book that was like a collection of basically scans from the different notebooks that he has, where he just kind of doodles his monster creations and talks about some of the artistic approaches to what he wants to do. And he's got some pretty fucked up ideas, to say the least. So it's more or less like an introduction as to what we can expect overall. But I do see the elements of Silent Hill because if anyone's familiar with the series, particularly I know that you did play, what was it called? Shattered Memories. Right. Back on the Wii. The whole kind of concept of the series is more or less this twisted reality where, how do I explain it? Where everything is real, but it's more or less this manifestation of some other emotion or guilt or something that we have bottled up. And that was the whole impression that I got while playing through PT, is that more or less was this man's descent into basically madness.
Something that I've been thinking about, I want to spin a theory by it. So I think possibly the reason that this demo or whatever is effective is because Kojima said that they deliberately lowered the graphical quality to as low as they could get away with, and there's no framing or anything, so it's very bare bones, kind of janky. and I think that actually might help the horror atmosphere of it. The feeling I've gotten from like Homecoming and maybe even Downpour is that these games are like so overproduced. They have to cram so much in. A lot of the series staples like Pyramid Head or whatever. They have to get the best graphics. They have to have a combat system. They have to have this overbloated story. And this demo didn't have any of that, and it might actually end up being more effective because of it. Would you say that that's the case, in that if the final game is more like Homecoming and Downpour, you might be disappointed, or are those elements what you look for in a horror game?
I would say I go for more of a middle ground. I personally enjoyed Homecoming, and I haven't completed Downpour, but I did feel that was a very good interpretation of basically screwing with reality regarding the setting, more at least. But I don't feel that any horror game needs to be as combat heavy as those titles were. So I definitely do hope that with PT's reputation that it's building, so to say, that it kind of opens the door back to classic horror and helps make these developers kind of rethink their approach to it, that, we don't have to be super gory, we don't have to have these overly grotesque creatures chasing you or attacking you at the turn of every corner in order to be intimidating and to give this intense adrenaline rush, which is what you really want from a horror game. That's the reason why anyone watches horror movies, is we are addicted to that just sudden, almost panic attack. And so I really have some high hopes between PT and, more importantly, also seeing with the remake being released, that perhaps it's kind of opening the gateway to bring some of that classic horror back that has died over the past decade.
Which remake?
The Resident Evil game, the re.
Oh, yeah. Remake.
Yeah, that one.
I figured that news would make you happy, because that was like the last hurrah of the old style mechanics before things changed in RE4,
I still don't believe that game's coming out. It will have to take for me to physically have it and be playing it for me to finally believe that it's true.
It really is kind of unbelievable, just because for years, fans speculated that it would be impossible to port it to a new system because of all the pre-rendered backgrounds and stuff, but I guess they didn't throw the source code out, or whatever happened with some of Capcom's previous games, so they're able to actually optimize the port, I guess.
I suppose so. That's a little bit outside of my capabilities. Just make it pretty, make it playable, that's all I care about.
Well, that can be hard, as the Silent Hill HD collection shows. It can be difficult sometimes.
I guess with the fact that it is pre-rendered, I mean, there's really, I guess, not a whole lot you have to do in a sense, because you have basically limited frames that you just have to kind of polish up, more or less, compared to something that's more open-ended, like the Silent Hill games or the remake, that you have to pretty much re-render almost the whole environment, because the player could look at any direction within a 360-degree angle. Compared to a game like Resident Evil, you have this chunk of a room because we are only giving you this chunk of a room.
Right. And that's why I think it was so graphically impressive, is it pulled off a lot of graphical effects because the camera was static for the most part, and you weren't able to look around, and was able to focus on one part of the scene. But yeah, the thing is the pre-rendered backgrounds, they must be re-rendering them. I haven't actually looked at a lot of the screens, but they must be re-rendering them at a high resolution, just because those would look really poor, blown up. If you play the remake on Dolphin, which is the Wii emulator that can do high resolutions, those backgrounds do not hold up at all, just because they are a low resolution. So they must still have the source files for those backgrounds, I think. I'm excited.
I'm very excited.
The one thing I really do like that they're doing is that they have, a widescreen option now, whereas the original was SD 4:3 only. So I think the widescreen might actually increase the viewing angle. It'll be interesting to see if that affects any gameplay, you know?
Definitely. I believe there's also a new gameplay mechanic that they're trying to implement. I believe from the little bit that I've read, they're trying to create something that you won't have to play with the fixed camera angles, or at least something's changing with the gameplay. I know they haven't released a whole lot of information, but from the little bit that I have seen and what I have read, it sounds like they may be trying to do something that's kind of over-the-shouldery like 4, so I'm interested in see how that's going to also change the way that the game looks and its perception.
Mm-hmm. When is that game coming out? Not till next year, right?
Correct. I believe it's like next spring, sometime in March.
Okay. Cool. Looking forward to it.
So now I believe that takes us from PT to PF. What's going on with Phil Fish?
Oh, yeah. So have you caught up on this situation at all?
I know that he's been a dick, but what's new there?
So he's been, a dick to other people, but now, I think like a week ago, there was a controversy. This is, the entire situation is dumb explaining it. Basically, there's this woman, Zoe Quinn, who was accused of sleeping around to get promotion for her indie game, possibly even cheating on someone she was dating. There's like a lot of like quote unquote evidence about it. One of the people she supposedly slept with was a Kotaku writer who never actually ended up writing anything about her game, and I still am not entirely sure that anything she did had any impact on the awareness of her game whatsoever. But that's kind of like the framing device that her ex-boyfriend used to like out her and get a bunch of angry male gamers on the internet like pissed off at her and saying, oh, this is like blah blah blah, this is a breach of integrity and such, and she's the worst person ever. So Phil Fish chimed in on Twitter that, he was standing by Zoe Quinn. And so this group, we don't know actually who did it, but this group who claim they're from 4chan, which a lot of people don't believe, hacked his site Polytron and his company and leaked his social security number and his credit card number, medical information, employee information, all that thing. So Phil Fish just said, screw it, and apparently he's getting out of gaming again for like the second time, and he's selling the rights to Fez 2. So
when did he even get back into gaming? When did this happen?
Yeah, it is weird for me because the last I heard about it is that he was saying he was quitting gaming forever, but I guess he was remaining like on board at Polytron, maybe possibly helping like other game designers out in like a limited capacity. But apparently, according to this, he's out of the entire gaming industry for good. It's just a really, really confusing situation, and I actually do feel bad for him. I'm like the smallest, how do I put this? I don't like Phil Fish very much, or the character he portrays himself online and at panels as, but I don't think, I think this hack went way over the line, like leaking his social security number and all that. I definitely think it was way too much, and I don't know. What do you think, Steph?
No, I definitely do agree. There is like this invisible line or this unwritten rule, I would say, amongst humanity, that there are certain things that are private and personal that certainly should not be released to the public, and certainly anything financially or anything tied to your legal identity certainly should be kept private and kept secret. So definitely he has every right to be pissed and furious in a situation like this, but needless to say, if anyone who partake in that is listening right now, I do need a new car. Hit me up. But yeah, I definitely do agree that is a little bit over the line, regardless of how dickish he is or whatever he stands by.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I thought, Malice, do you have anything to chime in on this situation?
You know, I kind of jumped in on this whole Zoe Quinn and Phil Fish nonsense. I didn't realize anything was going on. I started seeing little headlines pop up here and there on some of my news feeds, and I'm, you know what, trying to. No, what it was, I saw Adam Sessler tweet about it, mentioning, you know, very vaguely this situation. I was like, what? I had to, like, I went out of my way to figure out what was going on, and couldn't find out it was disappointing. A bunch of he said, she said, and no real way to verify most of what was going on. But of course, it's, you know, the toxicity of quote unquote the gaming community rearing its ugly head yet again. And I'm kind of with you on Phil Fish. Like, whatever his public persona wants to be is pretty much someone. I think it's safe to say it's someone I wouldn't spend any time with at all.
Right.
It's an aspect of the community that makes me not want to be associated with it. At the, you know, we can all, before I say anything else, we can all safely agree that posting somebody's information online, private information about their company, about their health, that is far over the line. But at the same time, at some point, he's got to think about what he's doing. Like, I looked back over his Twitter, and, you know, he's tweeting about some current events and this situation, and just the way he addresses the public. I mean, I don't know if he remembers, but when you tweet stuff out, people see it.
I don't think...
So you almost have to wonder, can he... And I know I'm waiting for all the victim-blaming comments to come out now. But you have to know who you're talking to. I mean, it's going to get around on the internet, and we all know from the internet that there are people that like to do terrible things like this.
That's true. I just don't think... What makes this situation particularly egregious is that it wasn't even for, like, him being, like, a jerk or an ass like he normally is, but just him... Well, I guess he was. He was being, like, a jerk and an ass to...
He was being himself.
The Zoe Quinn haters, I think.
I mean, that comes... I mean, you get that with... I mean, if you look at...
I don't think...
Say the Sarkeesian bunch, whenever any disagreement over her pops up, is the inflammatory stuff gets so much press that anything else just gets squelched. Yeah. And so everybody reacts to that instead of what may be legitimate discussions or legitimate arguments about the situation.
Right. I totally agree. Okay.
This is why we can't have nice things.
Exactly.
We can never have nice things. Don't even pretend we get nice.
Okay, I just thought we should touch on that topic because it was a pretty big kind of talk earlier this week. The next topic is something that I probably care about much more than you two. It's the Pokemon World Championships were last Saturday, I think. Was it? It was 2 weeks ago. And neither of you probably have any idea what I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about. I just didn't pay much attention to it.
Okay.
I know that a very just standard Pokemon pretty much made the guy win the tournament. I was very drunk and watching the video, so I don't remember much about it, but I know what we're talking about.
So
I was sober when I watched.
So you've seen the video too, then?
I didn't watch the whole thing. I kind of clicked through and caught the tail end of it, some of the highlights.
Okay. So yeah, the Pokemon World Championships were 2 weeks ago. It was held in DC. Basically, it's split into the card game half and the video game half. I only really care about the video game half. So they have, Swiss tournament style. People play double battles, and the finals came down to this guy Sejun Park, and who was he facing off against? Let me look it up. But basically, yeah, he won. A huge component of his team and why he got so far was Apache Risu, which is a Pokemon that has no evolutions and no pre-evolutions. And you wouldn't really think of its stats aren't that great. You wouldn't really think about it as that being that good of a Pokemon. But the reason it did so well and the reason he was able to maximize its usefulness is because I think it's because it has this move called Follow Me, among other things, that basically in double battles draws all attacks to it, and Sejun maximized its HP and defense so that it could take multiple hits, while its partner Pokemon was basically free to do whatever it wanted. So the pairing it had in the finals was Garchomp, and Garchomp has a weakness to Ice and Dragon. So on the other side, the opponent probably wants to use Ice or Dragon moves against it, but it wouldn't be able to because Pachirisu was redirecting all of its attacks to itself. And it was actually able to withstand a Draco Meteor and come back from that. It's pretty fascinating to watch. I was following along on the live stream, and I've never seen play at that high a level. It's really like all the mind games and stuff. It's kind of like it's the same feeling I get when I watched the Evo streams. Just obviously not like as fast Twitch based, but as it's a turn-based game. But the head games and everything, predicting what your opponent's going to do, it's still there in full force. So I wanted to have that bullet point in the topic list because I was excited about it, and now I'm training my team and holding these weekly Pokemon tournaments on G Forum because of the World Championships.
And it definitely does go to show that even though the Pokemon games themselves are very rock, paper, scissors, there is a whole level of strategy that is there, that if you take the time to really evaluate your team and think of any possibility, you can come out on top even with the most bullshit Pokemon.
Exactly. And at this point, there's 718 Pokemon. They're not all viable. A lot of them are pre-evolutions. But there's so many hold items. There's so many possible moves a Pokemon can learn. There's so many matchups and things. It's like you can say what you want about the original games like Red and Blue, for JRPG, their battle system's really simplistic. It's just rock, paper, scissors. But over the years, it's evolved into this, crazy deep thing, I think. I don't think, it's hard for me to say, but it feels like one of the most deep battle systems ever, just because of all the customization on each Pokemon you can have, and then you multiply that by 6 for a full team,
And that's not even touching base on abilities and natures and hidden abilities and certain attacks that can only be obtained by training and breeding certain Pokemon with other abilities. There's definitely a whole nother level.
Yeah, it's crazy. And I think, a lot of its longevity is because of the multiplayer aspect. You can't really play, Final Fantasy 13 multiplayer, so I think Pokemon kind of has to have a deep battle system if it wants to stick around. And I definitely think they achieved that.
Certainly here, because not only do you have the whole needing to obtain them all, but then being literally the best. Having the best IVs, the best EVs, the best ability, the best moveset, the best balanced team.
Yep. And, trying to hold all that, like, all the possibilities in your head, like, I'm trying to figure out something I want to add to my team. I have, like 4 possible Pokemon I want to add to my team. They all have different abilities. They all work better or worse in certain situations. And trying to just decide which one to go with and which one to train up is, it's actually kind of daunting, but it's a ton of fun. Okay, so moving on. Did you guys hear about the PSN Xbox Live hack? I don't think it was hugely impactful, but it was big enough to warrant a thread on the forums.
Oh no, it was hugely impactful, because let me tell you about this bullshit. That was my day off. And all I wanted to do was get drunk and play Final Fantasy XIV, but I couldn't do that because someone else was bored and just decided, let's fucking knock down PlayStation Network and Xbox Live.
Sorry to hear that, Steph.
For the uninitiated, what actually happened?
So, pretty much what happened, because we looked into the situation, because I was furious. I only get 3 days off a week, so this is a very special day for
Only
me.
3 days? I used to only get 2 days, if that.
Well, you see, I work 10-hour shifts of people basically yelling at me, so I deserve that third day.
Fair enough.
Anyway, so apparently there's this group that call themselves the Lizard Men or Lizard Squad or something stupid like that. That pretty much is a group of people that do something called, I believe it's DOS attacks? DDoS. Where they pretty much override the server by too many logins, thus causing it essentially to crash.
Yeah.
Apparently, a few days before then, they attacked Guild Wars 2, they apparently attacked another MMO, and they also attacked League of Legends. And so pretty much it's just a group of people just going around both Xbox Live and PlayStation Network attack. Another group was claiming to have done it outside of these group of people, stating themselves as anonymous, more or less to just kind of teach a lesson to the big man about security, but nothing's been able to confirm or deny that. And supposedly it's the same group that caused the whole PlayStation Network hack back in 2011 where people's credit card information was also taken. But I believe both Sony and Microsoft have stated that no personal information has been retrieved from this hack, and more or less it just knocked down the servers for about 24 or 48 hours, until Monday morning when I had to go to work.
Yeah. So, DDoSing is definitely like the mark of script kiddies. It's the lowest bottom of the barrel attack you can possibly do. It's not actually figuring out a loophole and gaining access to anything. It's literally just
hitting
brute
it with a
forcing.
hammer.
Yeah, brute forcing it, forcing it to go down.
Apparently there was a
those
bomb
guys.
threat involved in all this too.
What's that?
There was a bomb threat involved in all this too.
No, there was a forum
This article
thread.
no, a bomb threat.
What?
That's what this Destructoid article says.
What?
Says Xbox Live users are now reporting intermittent sign-in issues, and the group claiming responsibility for today's PlayStation Network attacks and bomb threat is again taking credit.
What?
That doesn't sound right.
It says,
oh, no, I remember that.
Yeah. American Airlines diverted a flight as a result that was carrying Sony Online Entertainment president.
Yep, I remember reading that. I don't know if that's true or not, but yeah, I remember that popping up. I believe that was later on Monday.
The story dated 24th. Yes, Sunday, yeah.
Yeah, it's more or less supposedly trying to prove just how insecure the networks were.
What?
People are bored, man. Rather than playing video games, they ruin video games for everyone else. And steal planes. Because why not?
This is like the ultimate example of internet tough guys. Like, we're so tough. We'll make bomb threats on Twitter and force your servers to go down. Anyways, so you had a pretty crappy day then, Steph.
Yep. Well, at least I played Diablo. That was fun.
Yeah. But things seem to be back up now, at least, I think.
Yeah,
Probably.
I haven't seen any issues with any of the servers. I haven't heard anything else since the plane was grounded. So I don't believe this group of people ever got caught. So who knows?
It's probably still an ongoing investigation. But you play Final Fantasy XIV on console?
Because my laptop is dead, I have no choice at this point.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. I was just curious about that. PS4?
Yes, it's on PlayStation 4. The system does support mouse and keyboard, so I'm still mouse and keyboarding it up. I just don't get the luxury of laying in my bed.
Okay. I've been interested in that game, but I'm not sure if I want to dive into another MMO again.
Oh, you totally do, and you want me to refer you. That way I can get the cool stuff.
Well, I'll keep it in mind. Next up on the topic list, Amazon bought Twitch.tv after a couple months of rumors that YouTube was pretty close to buying it. Seems like Amazon swooped in and got it from under their noses. Do you guys have any feeling about Twitch's new owners?
What are they going to do with it? YouTube makes sense.
Yeah.
What is Amazon going to do with it?
I don't know. I mean, Amazon does have a video service, but it's not. It's like a Netflix knockoff, basically. It's like elements of Netflix and iTunes and Google Play like rolled together. But yeah, I don't know. It kind of seems like they bought it just for spite. I mean, I know that they have their Fire TV thing, which they're trying to position as like a gaming console and having, an official optional Xbox knockoff controller for it. And I guess gaming's a thing on the Kindle Fire. It's probably just like a forward-thinking move for when they get like really serious about gaming, but I'm not sure that that's going to pan out. So it feels like a Yahoo acquisition where like they buy it and they have all these big plans for it and integrating it into like some new, market that they're moving into, but then they eventually decide not to move into the market and the acquisition ends up languishing for years for no reason. But we'll see. I will say Amazon was probably my second choice to get them. It doesn't really, I don't think they're really going to hurt the service a lot. But I am a little wary because they did, there was a lot of outlash from iPhone owners and iPad owners over their last acquisition, Comixology. Comixology is a service I use a lot. It's the only, well, it's not the only way, but it's the prime way I get digital comics. And on Android, nothing changed, but on iOS, they made it so that you can't buy comics through the app anymore. You can only read them because they didn't want to take a 30% hit from Apple on every purchase. And a lot of people were upset about that, and it only happened like 2 weeks after Amazon bought them. So a lot of people were probably understandably upset about that. On Android, you can still, buy and read. so it hasn't really affected me a ton. But it does go to show that Amazon is willing to degrade something that it buys if it doesn't like agree with it completely. So I don't know. It's too early to really say anything, but hopefully they won't mess it up too much.
And I just feel like Twitch is one of those things that even if another company buys it, the service itself's not really gonna change because it's kind of its own unique beast. Twitch has kind of stepped up as being the streaming service among any other service.
Right.
It's gonna become the name brand. So I think Amazon would be stupid to make any sort of changes to it. But who knows?
Yep, I totally agree. I mean, plus on top of that, I think any way Amazon might mess with it to make it worse, there are sites that are chomping at the bit for Twitch to do something wrong and for them to screw up. Like there's this new one that I only heard about like a month ago called like Hitbox. It's pretty much a Twitch competitor with like a better UI. But it seemed like a lot of Smash players I followed have a profile there, but they don't do like any of their primary streaming to it. Twitch definitely does have the streaming community cornered, but that only lasts as long as they have goodwill for Twitch. So, and that could change overnight, as we've seen before. So, we'll see.
Indeed. All I know is why do I have a real job? I should just work for Twitch.
You should just be a streamer. So there was last Saturday I was watching it's probably the most boring stream of all time. I was trying to watch this person hatch a shiny Pokemon. There's a certain way you do it in X and Y. The stream was like over an hour long. I kept it open because the comments in the chat were pretty funny. But during the stream, this guy got donated like let me see. He got like $1,400 like total from like various like donations. And it popped up on the screen. You got, $100 new or something donated. But it's crazy to me that someone could make that in an hour streaming. It's probably like an isolated incident. Like people aren't making like $1,700 like an hour every hour. This is just like a spike, I think.
If I made that for a day, I'd be happy.
Yeah, if I made that for like
a week, I'd be okay with that for a week.
Yeah, for a week, that'd be pretty good.
That's more than my monthly stipend in grad school.
But you definitely do have to like cultivate an audience. You have to be active like all the time. I think you have to be streaming all the time. You have to be on social media. Selling yourself, selling your brand or whatever. It's definitely more like a full-time job than any other hobby, I think.
It just comes down to marketing.
Yeah.
You've got to give people a reason to tune in and watch you and give you money.
Yep. Exactly. Actually, you don't even have to like give people a reason to give you money. Like a lot of people have like donation drives and stuff. But a lot of the time what I see is people donate money just for the hell of it and just to have their name pop up on screen for like 3 seconds. Say, oh wow, that person donated. It's like a prestige thing, I think.
I know what I'm doing tomorrow.
You also have to think, though, how many of those donations are legit and not just these Arabic princes that are bored?
No, I don't think it's Arabic princes, but there was a controversy earlier this week where there was this like 13-year-old in the UK who like gave like $1,500 total to like various streamers, and then like a month later, through like chargebacks, like took it back. I guess like his parents found out about it or something, and so now all these streamers are out like a bunch of money that they had already like spent at that point because of these chargebacks, and it's a very crazy situation, and you have to certainly be careful about like overspending money that you got just because you think you have it when somebody could go and reverse it later on. So that's that. Also, like, I've been trying to get, not for those reasons, but I've just been trying to get more active about streaming in general. You guys know about the split up I did between Gform streams and Gform plays. Gform plays is kind of like our Let's Play thing. They both use like the Twitch channel. They just have like different names. And I think it's an important distinction to make because like when you're searching for a Let's Play, you don't want to find like all this random footage of like that was streamed from random points in a game. You know, you want like a playthrough from start to end of the game. And I think we should definitely have more of that. 666 is definitely leading the pack on that. Like I've been trying to I need to get back to finishing my Let's Play of Smash Brothers Brawl's Subspace Emissary. And I want to do some other games. October's going to be a huge month for streaming, as it always is. So just wanted to let you guys know about that.
October's always really big for streaming, and it's definitely something that I've wanted to do for a while. It's part of the reason why I'm so upset that my laptop is dead, is so many of my streamable games and my capability to stream is on my computer. But definitely here, with the fact that we do have the PlayStation 4, with it already having like a built-in streaming service and the capability to stream directly from Twitch, starting to look at a couple options. I just have a very limited library right now.
Mm-hmm.
I know that feeling, because anything more than 20-year-old Doom Engine games seem to overheat this janky little ThinkPad.
Right.
It was free, and I'm okay with that, but I wish my other computers weren't on the fritz.
Yeah, it's I mean, I bought an Elgato a while ago just so that I could stream console games, just because PC games aren't really my thing. And it's definitely already like, I wouldn't say it's paid for itself, but it's definitely proven its usefulness so far. So maybe, I don't think they're that expensive anymore. I think they're like, well, let me look it up.
For those of us with a income of 0, it's a lot.
Yeah,
an income of 0
true.
and dwindling resources.
Oh, they released a new one.
If anybody would like to hire me freelance to typeset their mathematics, I'll be glad to do so.
I just like money. Just give me money.
Hey, I don't have to typeset anything. I'll take donations.
You guys got to get on. You guys got to start streaming and putting donation links up and being on Twitter and, you know, selling your brand, you know. Then you'll be raking in the money.
It's like, woo, I got $40 this week. I should
Hey,
just
that's
get a part-time
enough for
job.
40. That's enough for 40 tacos.
Hey, that's a weekly food budget for me. I can eat on $40 a week.
That would be difficult for me since I eat out so much.
Oh, that's the trick, is not eating out all the time.
Yeah.
I had to limit myself to one outing a week.
Yeah, I'm trying to get better at cooking. I bought a pork chop and some broccoli on Friday that I'm gonna cook up tomorrow. I've like cooked like steaks and ham before, but the broccoli is the first time I'm gonna cook something that's not meat. So we'll see how it goes. It doesn't seem like it would be very hard. It seems like something that's very hard to screw up.
Steak, you'd be okay with broccoli. That's not going to be a problem. Just steam that shit. You'll be good.
Okay.
Just learn how to bake chicken and your life is set.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm trying to be not so nervous about it, but I don't want to catch my pot of boiling water on fire or something, you know.
If you manage to do that, you should video it because you have accomplished something.
Okay. So next topic, Smash Brothers. There's a big leak, possibly the final 3DS roster leaked earlier this week. And of course, yesterday, Shulk was officially announced. He was one of the characters that was shown in the leak. Have you guys followed the leak, or what are your thoughts?
It's new Smash Bros, and I'm just excited.
Amen.
I mean, like, I've been following it, and I'm almost disappointed that everything has been leaked, because now I feel like there's nothing to be excited for, or to look forward to, with unlocking characters, or trying to find characters, because I know everything that's there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I definitely feel that a lot of the mystique has been taken out of things, like with Brawl. I mean, Brawl was a different situation because it released in Japan like 2 months before America, so like by the time it came out here, everything was already known. But it was still interesting to follow the Japanese release and see like off-cam pics of like Taboo and Rob and that kind of thing. Whereas this time it's way before release and stuff is still being leaked out. Do you guys have any thoughts on the characters? Do you know who the characters are? Or do you guys want to know?
I'm trying to think of the last character that I remember, outside of the Duck Hunt dog.
Mm-hmm.
The last time that I looked it up.
There is... Do you guys want to know?
Sure, everything else has been ruined so far with it.
Okay, so Bowser Jr., he's in the little clown hovercraft thing. The rumor is that all the other Koopa kids are costume swaps for him, and that they're able to do that because he's piloting the clown craft or whatever. They don't have to do like different hitboxes or anything. The clown copter thing has like mechanical boxing arms, and it looks like a very, like I heard somebody say, oh, he's just going to be a clone, but he definitely doesn't look like a clone. He definitely looks like a unique character, and I'm glad that they have him in the clown craft, and that it looks unique to me, I think. If you guys haven't seen the footage, it definitely seems like a unique character. There was Shulk, as announced, Duck Hunt, which Steph said, Dark Pit and Dr. Mario, which I'm not happy about.
I'm excited Dr. Mario is coming back.
Dr. Mario is the one character I didn't want back, besides, like, Pichu. Like, there's, like, I just don't like him.
But he was better than Mario.
But he's a clone of Mario.
But he's better.
I mean, he's less of a clone now, because Mario has... His down B's been changed to the Flood. So he's not as big a clone as he was in Melee, but I don't know, still. I don't know what Dark Pit will be up to. Hopefully he'll play differently. I mean, I think people kind of half expected him because he was at the end of the E3 trailer for Palutena.
Yeah.
But I can't... Like, the justification for Lucina, instead of being a Marth alternate costume, justification for her was that her model was like slightly different from Marth, and so the hitboxes didn't match up, and so they just decided to make her a new character completely. But with Dark Pit, I can't see how, like, he was a palette swap in Brawl, you know? Like, that's where his design for Kid Icarus Uprising came from. He was an alternate costume in Brawl. So I don't see what the justification is for him being a separate character, unless he plays differently, which I really hope is the case. Some other stuff, apparently Ice Climbers isn't part of the initial release of the 3DS version. Here's where I think it'll happen. Ice Climbers and a couple others, like Wolf and Lucas, are rumored for DLC. I think that the DLC will come out the same day as the Wii U version, and the Wii U version will have all the characters, including Ice Climbers and whatnot, in the DLC. So they're kind of shoving the 3DS version out the door early while they tweak these characters, and then they'll release them as DLC for 3DS and have them built into the Wii U version.
I wonder if the Ice Climbers will play significantly differently than before, if they're not already bringing them out with everybody else. I always like playing with them.
Maybe.
It
I don't
threw
know.
everybody off just because there's two of them.
Right. They also had a pretty sweet chain grab that pretty much you could one-hit KO. Well, not one-hit KO, but you could, if you got somebody into the infinite chain grab, you could finish them off without them being able to do anything about it, which presumably is fixed in the new game. Hopefully, anyways. Let me see, what else is here? A separate rumor that was trying to, like, grab onto this rumor was that, Ridley and Mewtwo are back, or Ridley's in, Mewtwo's back. I don't know how much credit we should give that rumor, but it's something to be aware of, at least. I'm hoping.
I would believe Ridley as an assist trophy before a playable character.
I mean, they showed him as...
He's a bit big.
They showed... Well, I mean, Olimar's like 2 centimeters high? I don't think... Like, that's the excuse Sakurai uses, but there's... The scaling in this game is really messed up.
Yeah,
I don't think that's a reason.
I think if you scaled him to be appropriate with other characters, I think he would just look silly. Like, his whole thing is he's big and scary. Rawr.
So is Bowser. I mean, like, have you seen Bowser in Mario 64? Like, they definitely scaled him down.
Yeah, he's been 18 different sizes across a series of games. So.
That's true. In Mario 1, he was basically like a head taller than Mario.
Yeah, like he's been a head taller. Like, they've pretty much standardized his size now. He's just, about like he is. I think Smash helped standardize how big he was to be. Mm-hmm. Especially now with all the Galaxy and everything. It's kind of, okay, this is how big Bowser is. We have a 3D model, let's just go with it.
Yeah. I mean, I can see the argument, but I think that the Metroid series needs a little more representation. Personally, I mean, it's only Samus, basically. Freaking Fire Emblem has 4 characters now,
Well, Fire Emblem as a series also has a lot more characters to interact with than, say, Metroid, where it's you and a planet full of monsters.
That's true, and Ridley is one of those monsters, so...
I think it could be interesting. I'm skeptical that I would take him seriously if he was that small, but
yeah,
I play everybody in the game anyway, so
yeah. I mean, I definitely put it on random, often, just so I can get a feel for different characters and stuff. Okay, so Steph, what do you think about the roster as I've stated it?
I mean, I think it's a fairly nice full roster. So that's really all I have to say about it, in all honesty. I mean, definitely there's always going to be characters that people are going to always wish are going to be there, and there's always going to be characters that people are going to wish are not there. But, I mean, there's a variety of gameplay styles, a variety of characters, there's a little bit of something for everyone, so...
Yeah, I definitely think, like, if this roster's true, I think it's, like, 50 or 51 characters total, including the DLC, which is insane. Like, a lot of... That's big for a fighting game, I think.
Yeah, I didn't realize how big the cast was getting.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't either. But, yeah, it's crazy. I mean, there's like, I think there's 5 Pokemon characters, 4 Fire Emblem, if you count Yoshi as Mario, there's 5 Mario, 4 Zelda, 3 Kirby, Mega Man, Sonic, Pac-Man, it's crazy. It's crazy. Like, you focus on, my favorite character isn't in the game or something, or I want this character in the game, and you lose sight of how much the roster does offer, Yeah. It's crazy. I'm very happy with the roster. The same person who posted, who leaked, these characters, and the screens and whatnot, said, Lucas Wolf Ice Climbers are DLC, but there's also two other characters that caught me off guard. Chorus Men from Rhythm Heaven, which have been rumored for quite a while now. They're going to be in DLC, and Snake is coming back as DLC, which really surprised me because I didn't expect Snake back at all. So it's very weird that he wouldn't be in the initial game though. Maybe I think it would have been like an all or nothing thing. Like, oh, we can't get the rights to Snake, so he's out, or we have the rights to Snake, he's in. It's not like, oh well, maybe his rights were delayed or something, and that's why he's DLC, and they weren't able to test him in time. I don't know. I think what'll happen is the 3DS version will be released, and then they'll start announcing these newer characters along the way to the Wii version, that'll eventually be DLC'd back to the 3DS version. So expect a lot of hype and whatnot when they show Snake back as DLC.
Definitely.
Were you what characters have you guys traditionally played as in Smash Brothers?
Fox, but I've been bad at it.
Jess Fox?
Occasionally I'll do Kirby, but for the most part, yeah, Fox. But I'm not that good at Smash Brothers.
We're still gonna have a tournament, and you're still gonna compete, though, right?
Sure, why not?
I can't remember I can't remember how I played in Brawl. I played Doc Mario and Ice Climbers for kicks in Melee, but I can't remember who I played around in Brawl. I think I just messed around with everybody.
Yeah, I definitely expanded my play style more in Brawl. I think my top picks were Luigi, Toon Link, and DDD, I think.
I gotta look at the cast. Didn't remember who all was in it. I think I played. Where is it? Why can't I just find a picture? Just Olimar. I loved Olimar. He was so much fun. You didn't realize you were just racking up damage till he hit you and killed you.
Right. What do you think about the changes they've done to Olimar in the new one?
I think it should be interesting. It's going to require a little more thinking. I'm just going to have to sit down and play with it, I think.
Well, it will be more consistent, I think. So for people who don't know, Olimar is limited to picking 3 Pikmin up. And they're always in a set order. So it definitely decreases the randomness of it.
Yeah.
Which is both good and bad because now your opponent can basically predict what you're going to get. But it also allows you to more reliably know what you're getting into.
I think it should definitely be interesting.
I really can't wait for the Wii version. We're going to have tournaments on G Forum. I'm going to get tournaments going at work. It's going to be great. It's going to be awesome.
I'm hoping to have disposable income at that point.
Me too.
Everyone should cross their fingers that I get the job I'm going to hopefully be able to interview for later this year.
Oh.
Good luck.
Yeah, good luck. What we should do is we should all pool our money and buy a bunch of lottery tickets. That's what we should do.
You're better off just getting a job.
That is true.
I have 2 math degrees. We have done the math. It's stupid.
That's right. I shouldn't try and play probability with a math major.
You can't outmath me.
Cool. So finally, last topic is yesterday Nintendo announced the new 3DS and the new 3DS XL. There have been a lot of mixed but still extreme reactions to this. I wanted to get your guys' thoughts first. Malice, you go first.
I'm not sure why anybody is surprised that there are new iterations of consoles, of portable Nintendo consoles. I mean, they've only done it with every system so far. So, you know, I'm not sure how sold I am on there's new functionality more than it's just a little faster. The screen's a little bigger.
Right.
But, you know, just I think if there's enough compelling software that that this new version makes that much better, or that this new version is able to run that, say, my current 3DS cannot, then I think it's going to go over well. If it's just new fancy brighter screen, then, you know, it's going to get lost in the huddle just with its name, with you know, the current XL and with the 2DS not being too far back, and so they're going to have to really work to make it stand out as this is a new thing and you shouldn't confuse it with what's already out.
Steph, are you still here?
Of course I'm still here.
You said you got to jump out.
Yes, very, very soon, because dinner has already been consumed by my boyfriend, and I still have my plate here. All I can say is I'm very glad that I'm not at GameStop now, because there is way too many 3DS models, but I think releasing kind of an enhanced version of the 3DS is, I mean, I think now is the perfect time for something like that. Because the 3DS itself is doing really well. There's plenty of games for it. There's definitely a very strong consumer market for it. That I think it would be stupid of Nintendo at this point to release a new system. But needless to say, technology has advanced so far compared to when the 3DS first came out that having something with a little bit more processing power and a little bit more capabilities to make new software a little bit better, but yet still have the full capabilities of the original system with the full library, is a smart move. So I'm not quite sure why they're just calling this the new 3DS, not the 3DS Advance, which is pretty much what it is. But I think it definitely could sell.
I'm not sure. I think there's been like a lull in 3DS sales, and definitely in the West. Still probably sells really well in Japan. But the thing, I think you guys have the idea that they're going to sell this alongside the old 3DS systems, which I don't think is the case. These new systems are priced the same as the current models in Japan. So they're effectively replacing what's there now. So when these come out in America, it's just going to be, you know, the new 3DS, the new 3DS XL, and the 2DS. That's pretty much just going to be it. I don't think that's super confusing. And as for the system itself, it kind of lines up with what Nintendo did with the DSi, which confused the heck out of me back then. It still kind of does, but at least I'm able to better understand what they're trying to do with the new 3DS. There's going to be a couple first-party exclusive games to the new system, and if there's no real reason to rush out and ditch your old 3DS. But if you are going to get a new, how do I say this without tripping over myself? If you're going to get a new system, like if your 3DS was busted, or you were going to get one for a family member, or give yours away to somebody and buy a new system, then you'll definitely get the new 3DS. I'm really excited for it just because it integrates the Circle Pad Pro, which is going to make Monster Hunter a lot more fun to play. Not that Monster Hunter without it was bad on 3DS, but it's definitely an advantage to have it. I'm looking forward to it, at least. eShop downloads are a lot faster, so that's like number 2 on my list. Really happy about that.
I'll wait for the super special limited special edition to come out. Then I'll get one.
Steph, you can make your own special limited edition with the customizable faceplates.
But that's more stuff that I gotta buy, and I'm not about that life.
Okay. Cool. I think. Do you guys have anything else on this subject?
I mean, I think at this point it's just a matter of waiting for a little bit more information on it, because I'm not quite sure how much stronger it is, and I really want to see what the intention is with this new power that they want to do to make people that already have the 3DS, especially if you've already jumped from the original 3DS to the XL, or even went to a 2DS, so why you should justify basically rebuying it.
I don't think you should hold your breath. I think there's not going to be very many new 3DS exclusive games. I mean, they're positioning Xenoblade. I think if there are a good amount of exclusives, that they're going to be mostly Wii ports, I think, or games that quote unquote need the new processing power. But I wouldn't really hold your breath at that convincing you. If on the other hand, if you really like the Circle Pad Pro, or you've always wanted a Circle Pad Pro, then I definitely think you should take another look at it, just because it feels like finally the two are married together and never shall they part again, you know.
At least until everyone hates that design, and then we get the new 3DS without the Circle Pad Pro.
Yeah, I mean, if like I said, I don't think you should hold your breath for like new exclusive games for it. This is definitely a stopgap system, like the Game Boy Color, like the DSi. So you could probably get away with holding off on buying it and just getting the 4DS or whatever Nintendo's next system is going to be called. Cool. So I think we should end it here. Steph has dinner to eat, apparently. Don't want to hold that up too long. Definitely thank you both for showing up, and expect this to be posted on the forum shortly.
Hooray! Who gets to pick the song?
I've been thinking of like standardizing our songs so that it's consistent on every episode.
Ooh.
Does that mean that we're gonna have an official theme song?
Maybe. Well, I have to work it out, so you guys can choose what it should be. Just post it in the Skype chat.
Ooh, decisions.
We've got all this power.
Alright, I'll see you guys later.
Bon voyage.
Good night, everybody.